There's a lot going on at Geek Gamers right now, and I looked back at my last channel update and realized that I had done everything on there with the exception of one thing that I'll talk about in a minute. So I thought I would come in and just tell you a little bit about what's going on, what are some upcoming things I'm working on. There's sort of a theme here, a role-playing theme here, not just RPG, but role-playing in games in general. I'm working on a fantasy adventure dungeon crawl that's a very new game with a lot of role-playing aspects on it. I've got a card-based RPG that I'm getting going, and I have a very old-school sci-fi adventure fantasy role-playing thing hybrid that I'm going to show you in a minute. So these are some of the things in process. I also had I was down in a restaurant down in the village a couple of weeks ago and walked by an old sort of a jewelry store, toy store, not really a toy store, one of those stores you still see in the village every now and then, and they had a bucket of dice, and I picked up some cool dice. I've got the pink and black D10s, which I really like, and this green facing, green numbered black die. I suspect that one is from a game that maybe some people know. I don't know what it's from, but I just have this feeling it's from some game. And then I got this really great purple decimal die that I'm very excited to use. So those are incoming, but more to the point, let's talk about the games that are going to be coming up on the channel. Most likely the next game you're going to see on the channel is a discussion demonstration of Dungeon Degenerates. This is subtitled, I guess, Hand of Doom, and there is the publisher credit down there on the right. This is a co-op dungeon crawl game that has, as far as I can tell, a lot of RPG elements that really activate the game and make it dynamic, down to changing the game board here. I'm showing you a character. Here's a vermin hunter, and you can see the stat line. And of course, there's been a lot of discussion online about the art and the art direction, I guess, of the game and what that means. And I really actually enjoy something different, and this certainly does literally appear to be different. I haven't really gotten into it enough to know what the mechanisms are that will be shining, but I can tell that there will be some. Here is an example of a monster card. The monsters are coming in based on locales, and here's an example of a wetlands monster. I really enjoy this. It is obviously not what you typically see. I'll just show you a glimpse of the map here. If you watch, if you see my Divine Right video on my channel, you'll know why this immediately reminds me of that, just from the color scheme. And so I'll be discussing it, demonstrating it, and that is probably up next, Dungeon Degenerates. Also in is another different kind of take on a well, this is really dungeon crawl-ish with a lot of RPG elements, and the next game or another game that I'm going to be dealing with is just a different take on an RPG experience, not dungeon crawl, and not dungeon crawl at all in mechanic or theme. I'm going to be taking a look at the Pathfinder adventure card game, the Mummy's Mask set of that series. I really enjoy this series. I've played and talked about in another video, the pirate one. This, to me, is one of the few games that changes. There are adventure packs that come in, and I guess it's not, I don't know if they call it a living card game. I don't know what they call it, but it is a game where there are adventure packs that are released for it, so the game state changes, you get new things to do, new actions. There's also character decks that come into play, but it is one of the few that I find enjoyable and not just kind of overwhelming, like it's a project that's getting away from me when this is coming in. I haven't yet played the Mummy's Mask. I think it introduces a few new mechanics, but I'm very much looking forward to demonstrating it for you and talking about why I think this series of games in general, what it offers in general, and if you haven't played any of them, how you might choose one based on the traditional fantasy theme, the pirate theme, or this theme. I don't know if there's another one in the set. There may well be. So that is going to be Mummy's Mask coming in, definitely for some discussion on the channel soon. After that, these aren't necessarily in order. They're sort of in order of what I'm thinking right now, which of course that can always change, is going to be, I'm going to go back to the demonstration of a solo RPG set, or I should say solo RPG session. I've had requests on my other videos that I've done to do some actual gameplay and showing encounters or showing scenes. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do that, but I am going to do that. I'm going to do it using this system. I'm going to do it using the Master Book system, which is the universal role-playing game rule system, and I will probably be bringing in the world, I guess it would be called, or I guess the world of Blood Shadows. To do that, I will also definitely be utilizing and showing you how I use the master deck set of cards that can be integrated into the system. You can play the system without using the cards. I think when soloing it is extremely helpful, as I'll demonstrate. And what I'm doing is I'm in the middle of working on this already. If you follow me on BGG, you'd have to follow me pretty closely, but if you follow me on BGG, you can find there, I did a post last month, I guess it was, where I used the easy rules of the Master Book set that I had downloaded. They're about 12-ish pages, while one of my kids was ill, and when she was sleeping, I was working on a little kind of Harriet the Spy thing that I had going that was helping me to envision her in healthier times, which thankfully she now is in. And I am going to be, I'm not picking that up directly. That was based on a small rule set, and my whole little adventure got written up in this notebook that I was carrying around with me at the time. But I'm going to be doing something involving a private investigator and maybe his young charge that is a Harriet the Spy growing up or something. Anyway, that's coming up, and as I said, it will incorporate the master deck card set. It's going to also incorporate, you know, my sort of standard fare of these tables that help me out from other systems, and the general oracle table I'll probably bring in as well. And so that will be coming. And then once again, in this theme that, or this concept that always draws me to games so much, of bringing in role-playing and game-playing, an oddball, I describe it as an oddball oldie, I guess you could say. I'm going to take a look at the John Carter Warlord of Mars game. This is an SPI game from, I'll put up the date, I don't know, a long time ago. Another fine game from Simulations Publications Incorporated, a fantastic science fiction adventure game. And indeed it is. It is a very unique hybrid, well, I would describe it as a hybrid game. I don't even know hybrid what. Yes, adventure. Yes, there are war game elements to it in terms of the combat and certainly the components. And there are tons of cards that provide the action, including these movement cards. So when you're doing movement, for example, you're not just deciding what you're doing. You're pulling a card, and then based on how you're traveling, whether you're walking, you're traveling by thought, or you're flying, this is how far you get to go. So there is like a, well, it is Game Master-ish. This is not a solo game, but there have been some solo suggestion rules posted that I've printed out and taken a look at, and will be, I don't know how closely I'll be following those yet. I haven't figured it out. I haven't spent enough time with this to know, but I'm definitely going to somehow demonstrate this for you, because you can even see on the map, the map itself is all in different scale. So here is a world map, and then you have down to the city scale on the same map. This is within a castle or a palace, and then the city map, I guess the city map I haven't actually shown you, is up here. So this is a really just a, I don't even know how to say. As I said, it's a unique hybrid kind of game that I am looking forward to spending more time with and being able to demonstrate and talk about with you. So that is also incoming. Well, it's here. It's been here for a while. I traded for this quite some time ago and have taken it out and put it back and taken it out, but I'm definitely going to be getting to that. And just one follow-up from, well, two follow-ups really. I am still continuing to think about and work on what I had been doing with the Starfinder material, the Starfinder video that I posted, which basically talked about how I was starting to take this massive rule set and bring it down to a level where I could create a solo adventure, one-off kind of thing for myself. I did one video where I talked about getting to the place where I had the main characters and knew what they were going to do, and then we'll be doing a video on the next step, basically, and I have not forgotten about that, and I am going to continue to do it. I've been continuing off and on to think about it and work on it, but I've moved away directly only from doing that. So at some point that will be coming up. And then the last thing to mention as a follow-up, I had the Lara Croft Tomb Raider collectible card game that I traded for that came in, and I got it to the table and started playing a couple games, and within the first, I don't know, 15 minutes, due to just some, I can't remember if it was a die roll or a card draw or something, just like luck, lost. And as you know, if you follow my channel, I'm delighted when games have luck in them. I am beyond frustrated when a repeated luck-based element just causes you to lose, within the first turn. I don't enjoy games like that. So having had that happen, I kind of put it away. I need to get that back out again at some point and revisit the rules and see what is going on that I could possibly make it more interesting for myself to play, and then if it is more interesting for myself to play play parts of it for you on the channel. So that is a look at what's going on behind the scenes right now at Geek Gamers. In the videos I've been posting of late, a lot of people have been suggesting games for me to consider and look at, and I've asked for that in some of the videos I've done, and I really appreciate the suggestions that I've gotten. I've gotten some excellent suggestions, and the knowledge base of people obviously is huge, and many suggestions that have come in of games I've never heard of that are that seem really interesting and appropriate for the channel and appropriate for me. So I'm keeping a running list of that, and going to start investigating that again, of course, for the future. So please do keep those suggestions coming, and I appreciate all the input and discussion that I've been having with viewers, and look forward to getting these projects and more onto the table for you soon. Thanks for watching.